Okay, guys. I want to thank Robert for inviting me to speak. I really appreciate it. And he called me about a month and a half ago, invited me to speak. I didn't know the studio owner of the year gave a speech, so I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. I had only had about a month and a half, and it's been a very busy month and a half, so I really hadn't had a chance to do anything. So, because I flew out here with Peter, and he wouldn't sit by me, I had some time on the plane to take a few notes. And I want to talk to you about four things today, and it's just a 10-minute talk, so I wanted to hit on 4 points. I want to hit on passion and self-branding, average equaling forgettable, and a little bit on B&I. So I want to start with a personal story. About a month and a half ago, when I started to get busy, what happened was I had to go for a stress test. I take a stress test every 2 years. So I went for a nuclear stress test. If you haven't had one, they're actually a lot of fun. I went to the doctor. They put these wires all over your body. They put you on a treadmill, and you just start running and running. And then they shoot some nuclear material in your vein, and then they keep running you, and then they put you in that tube, and they take some pictures of your heart. So I went through the test. I've done it a bunch of times. And the next day, I get a phone call from the doctor, and he says, Dan, I want you to come down to the office. I need to talk to you about your results. So I said, great, I'll be down. Let me stop at McDonald's, get a Big Mac, and I'll be right over. And so I go over to the cardiologist, and I'm sitting there, and he's sitting on one side of the desk, I'm sitting on the other side, and he's smiling, and I'm smiling, and he tells me I have moderate ischemia. And I'm still smiling because I have no idea what ischemia means. And I'm glad it's moderate, because I assume you'd rather have moderate ischemia than extreme. So I'm smiling, and when I went home, I finally learned a little bit more about it. Ischemia is where you're not getting enough oxygen to the heart. So that's what ischemia means. So what we did is we scheduled an appointment down at the University of Pennsylvania to get a cardiac catheterization. And that's when they take a little camera. It's not the GoPro, thank God, but they take a camera. They open up an artery in your groin, and they run a camera up into your heart, and they can take live pictures, and you can kind of watch on the screen. So went down to University of Pennsylvania. And again, this is where attitude comes in. You just got to have a great attitude in life. You own your emotions. You decide how you want to react to things in life, and it's just real important. I went down there. It's a little bit of a serious subject, but I had a great time. I mean, if it wasn't for the seriousness of the subject, it's a lot of fun. The nurses take great care of you. The preparation for surgery is a lot of fun. They really prepare you, and they're very nice, and it was a good time. The only guy that brought me down was the guy in the mask doing the procedure, because he gave me some mixed news at the end. He had told me they were checking out the 5 bypasses I had done 12 years ago, and they discovered that 3 of them are completely closed, and they're inoperable. They're too small. They can't do anything about it. So they sent me home, and they said, you have the 2 that are remaining. Those are the big ones. Those are the important ones. And they said, literally, that's your job for the rest of your life, is keep those 2 open, because when I fail to do that, then it will be over. So that's what I've been dealing with the last month and a half. And when I drove home, and my sister came down and drove me home, I stopped to think, and I was thinking, you got to do what you love in life. You got to have a passion for what you do, and you got to have a passion for being a home video studio owner, which I have, and I assume all of you have it there. If you don't have a passion, if you're just doing this because you're good at it, or for some other reason, you're really not going to succeed. Passion trumps skill any day of the week, because if you have passion, you'll go out and you'll get skill. You'll take your passion, you'll come to training, and you'll learn the skills you need. So passion really does outweigh everything. So I wanted to talk to you today that the most important skill you can have at home video studio is to have a passion and a love for what you do. And that also equates to the next subject I want to talk about, which was personal branding. Home video studio is not Robert Hanley sitting over there. It's not Indianapolis. It's not the DVD deluxes we use or any of the procedures we go through. Home video studio is really you and me. Home video studio Westfield is Dan Weiniger. Home video studio up in Hasbrook Heights is Peter Gallo. And you really got to take control of your brand. And it's a new age out there. The consumers have a lot of power in the marketplace now. It used to be the people that supplied goods, but now it's the consumers, because they can go out, they can rate your business, and it's really changed the marketplace. So you got to be transparent. People want to see what you're doing. They want to know about you, know about your studio. So you got to be out there, and you got to develop a personal brand. And you don't have to do it all at once. You can take small steps. I know I have a friend of mine in B&I. She owns a printing company, and she needs to do videos for her company. She needs to be out there. The printing business is a tough business now, but she was scared to death. And she's the director of B&I. She's not only in our group, but she's also a director, and she sings in a band. But when we came over with all the cameras and the lights and microphones, she was scared to death, and she canceled twice. So I finally called her and said, Christy, I'm going to come over. I'll bring my little iPhone with this dolly that you see here. We'll sit in your conference room. We'll film each other. We'll just have a good time. And she agreed to that. And we went over and I filmed 3 monster videos that are just terrific. We call them spotlight videos. And they're just her talking about the product she makes, one product at a time. And we now meet once a week for a video. And we put that up on our Facebook and on YouTube. And she has now become a personal brand. She has now become the face of L&B Printing. And it's been just a tremendous improvement for her business. So us as studio owners, we have to do the same thing. We have to create a brand for ourselves. We have to be out there. We have to be transparent. I mean, your legacy is your currency. You just really got to develop an identity in the community, something like Peter talked about today, getting involved in the community. We also want to be very transparent in what you do. The third point I want to talk to you today about is I want you to reflect back to when you were dating, maybe back in high school or something like that. Maybe you went out with a boy or a girl, depending on your preference, and maybe a few weeks later, someone asks you, how was that date with, whatever the person's name might be? And you think to yourself, and you're trying to think, gee, I don't even remember the girl's name. She was very nice, she was pleasant, but maybe it was just average, and nothing clicked. And then you think about the time you went out with, the love of your life, and you think about her, and you remember everything about her. Her eyes, what she said, what she ordered. I mean, it made a real impression on you. That's what we have to do as studio owners. We don't want to become average. We don't want to become forgettable. So I'm spending more time this year diverting a little money from some other spots and putting it into customer experience. How is the customer experience when they walk into my studio? And some of the upgrades I've made are everyone's going to leave and take their memoirs home in a canvas bag this year. It's got my branding on there. It tells people to preserve their memories. It costs me a little bit more money, but I want to increase the experience when they come to my studio. And I want them to remember me. I don't want to be average. And I also created thank you notes. And this one says, thank you for your business. It's got a little cartoon picture of me on there. Makes it kind of personal. It's got our picture of all the before stuff on there. And on the back, it lists all our services over here. And it lists here how they can tell people about their experience with me, where they can go to Yelp and Facebook and Google+. And they can tell people about their experience with me. And they can write a little personal note there. So this is for businesses that do, people that do business with me under $1,000. This is for B&I dance cards. If I do a dance card with somebody, which is a one-on-one, I want to send them a thank you note, tell them about I enjoyed the experience. And this is for my larger orders. This is for the orders over $1,000. Has a nice branding inside with the places they can rate me, are things. And where this logo is I put a $5 Starbucks gift card there. So they open it up, they got a $5 gift card. When they lift it up, my logo's underneath. So I send these out, and this is all designed to make me rememberable. I don't want to be just an average place they go to. I want to have something they remember. And my last point I want to talk about was a little bit about B&I. I'm president of B&I this year in my chapter. It's been a lot of fun. We're doing very well. And I think one of the important things to remember at B&I, I can be pretty silly at times with my 60-second commercials. You got to remember, though, you want to vary it up. You don't want to always tell them what you do. After a while, your partners are going to know you do photo keepsakes, you do shape transfers and film transfers. You also want to tell them how to refer you. So even though they know what you do, no one's going to run up to them waving a VHS tape saying, help me solve this problem. They might not even know they have the problem. So you got to take some time and teach these people how they can refer to you. So I will actually go during a 10-minute talk or maybe during a 60-minute talk and point out somebody in the group and say, Doug Lynch, you're the basement guy. What you have to do and what other people do that are in people's homes, you have to look around. You got to look for you got to help me out. You got to look, maybe see a box of memories in a basement. You say to the guy, I had a box just like that in my basement, and my wife was just on me all the time. She was worried those were going to get ruined. And I actually have a friend, and he took those memories and he transferred them to DVD, and I was a big hero with my wife. It was a terrific thing. If you want me to have him call you, I'll do that for you. Then another time at B&I, you can say, to the divorce attorney or the tax guy, the divorce attorney, let's say you're sitting down with your customer and you're talking about separation of assets. You can say, I have a guy that will help you now. If you want to separate your photo albums and your videotapes, he'll do it. He'll duplicate them and give you each a copy, and I'll have him give you a call. And this is the printer, gets wedding invitations done for weddings, and she could say, We do wedding invitations. By the way, I just had a wedding, and I had a friend of mine do a photo keepsake. It was a big hit. If you'd like to get one done, I'll give you his name. So you got to teach your BNI partners not only what you do, but how they could refer you. It's no good if they just know what you do, but they don't know how to help you. They have to be able to help you. So you got to help them help you. And those are the 4 points I want to cover. Having a passion for what you do and loving what you do. If you love what you do, you'll find the skills and you'll find the energy to go out and do BNI and come to training and be a successful owner. Personal branding, I think, is real important. Got to develop a personal brand. Don't be average, be memorable. And BNI, mix up and help your partners learn how to refer you. So, Robert, that's it. Thank you very much.